right.
Morning.
Good morning, Jason.
Welcome to Caffeinate Your Career. Today's topic is going to be how to enhance your job search. I'm your host, the career coach with the most, Jason Hubbard. With me today, back again, we got Jam and Janae Warner, Janae Jones.
That's
Janae,
all right.
I know who you
All
are.
right. I know you know
I
that.
don't know what happened.
That's all right.
Actually,
It's okay.
I do know what happened. I just got a message from Jim Warner. And that's how that came out. Okay. So, Janae, I'm checking to see if we are live, and I believe we are. Maybe. So, job search is hard. I say that all the time. Almost every single time that we do a live stream, that's how I started. Is job search is hard because it is, and I think a lot of people don't understand exactly just how hard it is.
I agree.
And I think like oftentimes, I don't know, maybe things are starting to go well in your job search, and or you are excited to begin the job search.
Right.
Maybe things aren't going as fast as you would like them to go.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
If that is the case, well, we're going to talk about how to get into enhancing your job search and getting things back on track and moving in a faster way. So, Janae, what would be like the something that somebody could do to start out to enhance their job search?
Well, we're going to go with what most of them should already have created, is to optimize, maximize off that resume and cover letter. The resume and cover letter is everything. That's your story. That's your job story and your experience. And before we even get into that, did you know, you probably already know this, but over 85% of the job applications are reviewed by AI before a human even sees them.
Yes.
That just, you know.
I did know that. And also, too, the applicant tracking software. So, most companies are going to use some form of this software to really block most of. In fact, last statistic I saw said that the ATS, the applicant tracking software, is set up to block 97% of the people that apply.
Wow.
Right?
That's a huge number.
You talk about AI. What's usually interesting is like AI's gotten a really big push in the past couple of years, but it's not new.
Right.
Right? Like,
it's been around forever. We've been using it
since 1953,
yes.
Actually. And all of the applicant tracking software has a form of AI in it.
Yes.
Right? So it's important, you're correct, to optimize the resume and the cover letter to make sure that you're getting, you're getting a better chance at a human looking
at it. And that's what I was about to say. And changing those keywords. Because the other key thing about your resume and cover letter, and I say this all the time to people, you need to have more than one. Because you're applying for different jobs. And when you truly read that job description, do my cover letter match some of the key words? Do my cover letter and resume have some of the key relevant words that are in the actual description?
What's the best way to come up with those keywords?
You can use different tools. You can go into, Google, as I mentioned before, is my BFF.
Yes.
To try to find similar words that will match and compare synonyms, right?
Yes.
To see what other words that you already have those skills that you can go in. And it's not totally revamping your entire resume or totally revamping your cover letter. It's just changing some of those keywords. So like you said, the ATS system can pick that up with, like you said, with the hope of a human looking at it and saying, hey, I want this person for an interview.
Yeah. I think there's many ways to do that. Like you can just kind of scan it, do it old school. You could copy and paste it into like JobScan.
Yep.
Or WordCloud.
WordCloud works.
One thing I'm going to suggest you not do is like try to be tricky with it.
Right.
Yes. Like keyword whiteout, where you just copy paste the job description
Right.
and then make it white.
Right.
I'd say the bottom. The reason is the applicant tracking software doesn't really read color. And so even though you make it white, it's going to appear at the very bottom of your resume, and the recruiter's probably going to get mad and not call you.
And not call you, right? I totally agree with that. Definitely. And then the other big thing is that some people forget to quantify your achievements. And your successes, the things that you've done. And I know so many times people say, how do you put numbers? I'm not a numbers person, but we know we live in a world of numbers. We can't get away from numbers.
Yes.
And even if you can quantify at least 2 or 3 of the things that you've done in the experience, it may be saying that, like if you were a teacher, how many classes you taught, how many students you taught, if you're in technology or whatever, how many programs, how many people did that program impact? This is just a few examples, but the more you can quantify, it shows that you can make an impact. If I hire you, there's a possibility that you can truly come in and make an impact in our company.
And that's really what employers are looking for is, can you solve the problem? Can you move us forward?
Right.
And when we quantify, yes, it doesn't have to be money. That's what most people think is money. Right. It could be time. It could be people.
Absolutely.
It could be almost anything. And that's one of the things I help clients with is when we talk about like working on their core competencies on their resume is to make sure that we are quantifying every single time.
Absolutely.
It helps to tell your story more than anything else.
It truly does. And like you said, that's what the companies are looking for. How do you move them forward? What strategies? How do you think? Are you a problem solver? Are you a team?
Correct.
Those are the type of things that, believe it or not, in 1 or 2 bullet points on your resume, it tells it all. Of course, once you get the interview, you talk more about it, but quantification and putting numbers to it, if you need help, reach out, but you definitely need to quantify that on your actual resume.
I think it's a good idea, too, to make sure that you are looking at and leveraging job boards. Mm-hmm. And everybody wants to be on Indeed.
Yes.
But I think for every industry, there's for pretty much every industry, there's a specific job board for it.
I agree.
Right?
I totally agree.
And that's where I would probably focus, more than I think it's important that when we are doing job search stuff, we do the opposite of what everybody else is doing.
Right.
Because it's the one thing that can help us stand out more than anything else. So if everybody's going and applying on Indeed, you should be applying on job boards that are are industry specific.
Yes, I totally agree. And not only just industry specific, do you truly have a passion for? What do you have the skills in? What are your skills and your expertise in? And I do understand, like you said, sometimes searching for that job can be fun and exciting, and other times it's like, but making sure that you know who you are, your story, your brand. So when you are looking for that specific job that tailors to your resume and your skill set, whatever board that you're on, whether it's LinkedIn, Glassdoor, making sure that it fits the job you're looking for and your skills. They go hand in hand.
Yes.
And the other thing is to make sure that when you're out there interacting on it, update it. What's going on in this industry? So let's use LinkedIn for an example.
Yeah.
If you're in LinkedIn, you're in IT, you're an engineer, right? Making sure that, are you looking at what other departments, organizations, companies that have posted things on LinkedIn that may intrigue you? So let me read the blog. Let me read, and you may not have to read the blog in its entirety, but just check it out. See what's going on. You just never know what you may pick up on what's going on, and it keeps you up to date as well.
I did that exact same thing actually when I started, because when I started here, they hadn't really officially gotten me through training. I was a job coach for 7 years at the state, so it's not like I was brand new. But also too, I showed up. I started when the pandemic started, and so I worked a day and a half. And then our office shut down. and I'm now at home, and I'm like, I'm not connected to any other job coaches. And so I started getting connected to career coaches, not just in DFW, but like all over the state, because I wanted to, like you said, look at the things that they're posting. What are they doing?
Right.
What things can I pick up and learn? And some of them I have changed over the years, like for tactics,
Right.
because that's something that, I mean, job search tactics are going to change from year to year.
Yes, for sure.
And you want to make sure that you're up to date. It's the same thing.
Right.
If you're an engineer, you're in IT,
Right.
you need to know like what it is what software are we using for specific things, or
And don't let it overwhelm you, because there's so much information out there.
Yeah.
So much. And I love what you said, that you looked at different things, that how can you even get better because you were disconnected. But don't let it. I think a lot of times people get so overwhelmed because there is so much. It doesn't matter which job board you're on. There's plethora of information.
Yeah.
But take the things that stand out. Take the things that, jot those down if you have a handy notebook or, in your phone, whatever piece of, advice. Not advice, but paper or document that you can just jot it down, because those things can help you and you can do further research on that.
Yes.
The other cool thing is that even like JFS, they send notifications. So if there's any of the industries that really said something in the blog that you read, put an alert on your phone. Many of us have alerts for all of our favorite things. Yeah. I know myself, I have my alert. I'm an Amazon shopper. I have my alert for Amazon. Something's new.
Right.
So if you're searching for that job, and you find something out there, put an alert, because guess what? LinkedIn, Glassdoor, it will notify you.
Yeah, you definitely need to set your job alerts for LinkedIn, because if you are not, honestly, if you're not one of the first 12 people
to apply,
you're probably not even going to get seen.
Right.
And that's just how recruiting works, right? And we talked about that like a few weeks ago. And, it's, I tell the story like how I got hired here.
Mm-hmm.
And it really all started with the fact that I had set my job alerts on LinkedIn to email me anytime a job posted that said that with the title career coach.
Right.
And then the rest of
and
it
bam,
was,
you're here.
I applied. I knew Mitch, who was our lead, and then same thing. And this is the third part. Is that networking? I had already gotten connected to him here. He knew who I was, and so it was an easy ask to reach out to him. Really, the main pillar in how I coach is just straight up through networking and talking to people.
And I love that. I love that you talked about that, because I have a friend that wasn't really good at networking, more of an introvert. Last year, went to a beautiful networking event for job career.
Mm-hmm.
Met some people, but we talked about this last week. He had his brand. He had his short brand that he was going around saying to people that he met. He said, I only talked to a few people during this event. This year, went into 2025, I still haven't found a job at a good company, so forth and so on. This year, he got a random call. Hey, I remember you from last year, da-da-da-da. I remember your brand. I remember what you said. We got an opportunity, but you have to go through the full process. You need to go on our website. Here's our link. Here's the job, opening. It's posted. Apply for the job. And he was blown away because someone from months ago in 2024 remembered him.
Yeah.
And then he applied for the job, and needless to say, here in April, he's been there, 2 weeks now.
Okay. That's congratulations to him. And also, too, you know what? That really speaks to he's now running on kind of not feeling great, right? Because job search is hard. We just talked about that. And now, all of a sudden, he gets a call out of the blue from the recruiter who says, I remember. Like, talk about a big rocket fuel boost of confidence.
Yes, beyond confident, because it's like, you remembered me.
That's right.
And what did I say that? And it was months ago.
Yeah.
It was months ago. And the other thing is that he gave the person the phone. And when you're networking, giving them your information.
Yes.
That's huge.
Right.
If you don't have your resume digital, you can have things on your phone, be able to get that information, because people will remember you if you make them get that first impression.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's your last impression.
Could be.
So, come prepared.
I think like and I say all the time, network or not work.
And not, I love it. I love that.
Right?
I love that.
Because I do believe it is the best way to get into stuff. I think too, like outside of job fairs or like there's like meetups.
Yes.
And
Dallas have a lot of those.
You know, you can go register at meetup.com and then start attending meetups. And I do suggest that you pick meetups that are going to be fun.
Yes.
Not job search based.
Right.
And then you got it. So long as the meetup was fun and a nice experience, you have to go back. You continue to go back.
Absolutely. And with that, though, if you're an introvert or extrovert, meetups can be virtual. Some of them have virtual that you're connecting through Teams or Zoom or whatever. And then, of course, some of them are in person. So depending on how you're feeling about it, the title may be intriguing to you.
Yeah.
But if you say, I don't want to go out and meet people, well, do it over the camera. Do a virtual one. But mix it up, too. Don't do everything virtual. Eventually, you got to push yourself out of that comfort zone and say, even if it's just 15 minutes, let me go and meet someone. Because that someone could be your next job.
Well, that's true, because that's the beauty of networking is you never know who someone's going to know.
Right.
And it really just takes the one.
That's it.
Right. In fact, I go to meetups. I love my meetups. And you know, we're all on a text string together. Like, you know, because if somebody's not going to make it, it's like, hey guys, just start the meetup without me. I'm not going to be able to go tonight or whatever. And then, like, you know, you've got their phone number. We've got their phone numbers. And like some of the conversation, was having a text conversation with one of the guys that's in our meetup, and just earlier this morning, right? But and also too, like I ended up getting a client from the meetup, right? She's like looking to change jobs and it's like, hey, Hopper, hit me up with your 30-second commercial.
There you go.
Right. And so you just never know.
Right.
But I do think if you're on the job search, that 80% of everything you should be doing is nothing but talking to people.
I agree. Because you're talking about your brand. Again, I always tell people that you are your brand. You're your walking brand. You're on stage all the time. Because especially when you're looking for the job, that job that you want, you have to be prepared to share your story and share it short and sweet.
Yeah. You said walking brand, and what just hit me in my head. So I wear Vans. I've got like 6 pair of Vans sneakers that I wear. Today I was just feeling, I'm doing a presentation later, and I was feeling like it would be a blue day.
And you got cool socks on too with your Vans.
Also, so that's also, yes. So I've got my beer socks on. Y'all can't, if y'all are on the podcast, you can't see, but I got beer socks on. I'm a home brewer. It says so in my headline on LinkedIn.
Oh, that's
part of the brand. And now I'm on brand. I'm wearing my JFS T-shirt today.
Right.
Again, just part of the brand. So yesterday, I am, and so I'm a big walker.
Okay.
Right. I walk 5 to 7 miles a day.
Awesome.
And I'm now walking in my neighborhood. It's we were off yesterday for Passover, and it's early morning, probably like 9:30, 10. And this lady right across the street from me is walking her dog, and she's like waving at me, and I take my AirPod out of my ear, and I'm like, hey, and I just thought like she was going to say hey, because usually people in the neighborhood, if we're walking or passing by, we just kind of wave and say hi and keep moving. And she's with her dog, she goes, and she like look at me, she goes, you're the guy that does presentations at the workforce. And I'm like, yes, Jason Hopper, hi, how are you? And she's like, I almost didn't recognize you because you don't have your Vans on. I'm not even making this up.
Right.
And I laughed. I'm like, yeah.
And you're your walking brand because you wear Vans.
I said, when I'm walking, I'm wearing New Balance. And she's like, okay, well, I got to keep walking my dog. Have a great day. I'm like, bye.
You never know what people notice.
That's right.
And that is a great story about the fact that you are your walking brand. People know who you are by your shoes.
Yeah.
And you're in your neighborhood, right?
Yeah, she goes, I didn't know you lived in our neighborhood. I'm like, yeah, I just rode across park over there.
Right.
By the way, I am doing a presentation later. If you are in the Dallas area and you want to see me do a presentation on how to rock the video interview, I'm going to be at the Workforce in Plano tonight at 5:30. That's 1101 Resource Drive, Plano 75023, I believe. Just Google it.
Right.
Like Janae said, just Google it.
Google
Workforce in Plano. You'll get the address, but that's pretty much correct. And if you need to call them to get directions, it is 469-299-0099. And video interviewing is a whole other animal besides that. And this time I got a presentation.
And you're going to rock it because you got your Vans on.
I do have my Vans on. I got
You're
everything
walking with your brand.
Everything I got on today is definitely part of the brand.
Absolutely. Can I go back for a second?
You can, yeah. But
you talked about headline for a minute.
And
you said how you updated your headline with some of your skills.
Mm-hmm.
That stood out for me. And the reason why that stood out for me is that it's very important that your headline shows the key skills.
Yes.
Some people feel like, they're not going to read that, but it's the headline. You are headlining your brand, yourself. So if you have not updated that, I think that should be the first thing that you update on LinkedIn because that's catchy, for anyone that may look to pick you for an interview.
One of the reasons the headline is so important, Janae, is like when recruiters are looking in the recruiter portal and they're searching for people in LinkedIn, all they see is your smiling face,
right?
Your name and the headline. That's all they see. The rest of it is like, are they going to click on it and actually view your profile? Well, I don't know. How well is your headline written?
Right.
I think it's a good idea when we talk about optimizing LinkedIn to, one, put some of that personal stuff in the headline.
Right.
Yes, LinkedIn is for business.
Yes, it is.
However, we're people.
Of course.
And once we start to peel the layers back of the onion, you've got a little bit more interesting bits.
Yes.
Besides, I'm an operations manager.
Right.
So, like, right now, my personal stuff in my headline is, it reads homebrewer, which I just said.
Right.
And pogo enthusiast.
See?
Right? And I think having that personal stuff in there, well, give them a reason to like you.
Of course. And then they're able to, resonate with the type of person that you are, depending on your hobbies, And then the other thing is, like you said, we're human. So skills is great. We can talk about that. But what type of person are you?
Yeah.
How do you interact with other people? Those things are important, whatever company that you work for, because we're around people every day.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea to get the personal stuff, but also like when you change your headline, and I think it's a good idea to not only change your profile picture,
I agree,
but also your headline once every 6 months.
I agree with that because we change.
We do.
And our interests sometimes even change.
Yeah.
You may start a new hobby, and we always say that it's good to pick up and enhance your skills.
Yeah.
So if you learned a new skill, learned a new hobby, and now it's your passion and you really are into it, why not update it?
I think people forget, like, LinkedIn is social media.
It is.
And, like, people change their profile picture on Facebook or Insta all the time, but they don't change it on LinkedIn. And it's like, it's funny because I'll have clients, they'll come to see me, and they will be sitting across from me, and I'm looking at their LinkedIn profile, and I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at the profile, and I'm like, how old's that picture?
Right.
They're like 8 years. Yeah, you need to change.
Right.
You need to update that. Like, but our faces, like I've got this weird divot, like right here, it just showed up like last year. I'm like, oh,
that's wisdom.
Okay, wisdom. It's wisdom.
It's like, Jason's wisdom.
I didn't get wise until last year, apparently. But
right.
Your face changes, and so it's a good idea to have an updated picture. And I get I was like, well, but I don't want them to know how old I am. I'm like, they're gonna see you in person or on a Zoom call.
Right.
You wanna. We talk about employers don't like change. People just in general, I don't think like change.
Yes.
And if they're looking at your profile and then you show up, and I had this happen with a client. Like we were talking about his profile and his profile picture, and he's like, okay, cool. And so we got a new profile picture, and then like a week later, we have another meeting, and he logs onto the Zoom, and he'd shaved his head.
See?
And I'm like, you don't look anything. I'm like, why did you shave your head? He goes, oh, it's just something I do sometimes. Okay, well, now you got to get a whole new picture, dude.
To update your picture, because now your picture, and the first thing that comes to mind is catfish. But
catfish, right? You catfish me on the interview.
Yes,
like who is that?
And I love what you say that 6 months is important so that you're representing. If your brand is dated, then you are your brand. Your picture is part of your brand.
Yeah.
So if you're making a change in your physical appearance, and you are out there actively looking for that job, you got to update the picture. Those are it goes hand in hand.
I think we talk about LinkedIn too. I mean, outside of creating a really good about section and telling your story, I think it's an excellent idea to create content as well.
Yes.
So that the hiring managers, the recruiters can look at the things that you are doing and hopefully it's really just what it is, just more marketing.
It is you need to have a compelling story about yourself.
Yeah.
And it truly, you can use the resources and tools out here to help you, but make sure that it truly speaks to who you are.
Yeah.
And when I say tools, AI, Chat, GPT, and all of that, it does not give the tone and the feeling of who you are. You need to go in and customize it and make it your own. You got to own it.
Right.
And that you're able to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, yes, you need the compelling story. You need those key things that make you and make someone want to say, okay, I've seen the headline. I've seen the picture. Let me go down to this compelling story and see what they wrote about themselves.
Yeah.
This is your time to shine.
That's right. There's actually a formula for for posting content that anybody that knows anything at all about LinkedIn follows, which is why you're the expert in the field, a written version of a story of how you solve a problem, because again, that's what employers are looking for. Right? And then third, some personal stuff.
Right.
Again, personal stuff.
Absolutely.
And I think I don't do a lot of personal posts.
Right.
But I do throw some stuff in there every now and then. I think probably the last one. Oh, that's the fourth bit of content. There's actually four. The fourth one is the whatever trend.
What's trending?
Right.
I agree with that.
When it is. I think the last trend that we had actually was when it snowed.
Oh yeah.
And everything in my feed was like people sledding. I built a snowman. Even I stepped off the front porch and filmed the quick.
Of course. I mean, and for Texas, that's not common.
That's why it was the trend, because it's not a common thing in Texas.
Absolutely.
And so that was the trend. And look for those trends. You'll see them when you see them, and jump on that as well. I want to move forward a little bit, Janae, because we've got a lot of other stuff.
Absolutely.
I think for enhancing your job search, and the one misstep I see job hunters make is they don't put enough practice into the interview.
I agree. And they do not only do they not put enough practice, they feel that sometimes that they know everything, because I've been on so many interviews. I don't have to, prepare for it.
Yeah.
Every single interview you should look at every single interview as a brand new opportunity, first and foremost.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Even if you've interviewed for the same position before, it's a new opportunity, a new day, a new you. And prior to you getting the date of the interview, what have you done? Have you did a mock interview?
Right.
Have you looked at your resume and cover letter? Even though that they've already, set up an interview with you, if it's in person, have you updated that to make sure everything is accurate so you can hand give them, an updated copy? Have you ensured that the examples that you're going to, share, your story, your experiences that you're sharing, are you ready for those? Most companies have what we somewhat call a behavioral interview. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, problem solving. They're looking for the situation. They're looking for what did you do and what was the outcome. And are you prepared with those examples?
Yes.
Sometimes people come into the interview and they're trying to think. It's like, I haven't done this in 10. Those are the type of things that will help you have a better experience in your interview, because if you don't come prepared, then you're all over the place trying to think of examples of your career experience.
Right. And so this would be a good time to do the commercial, I think. All right. So we do have a virtual interview practice program. Janae is on the interview team. If you want to do a practice interview with Janae, how you get there is you need to email me. My email is jhopper, that's the letter J, Hopper, HOPPER, at jfsdallas.org. I need you to put practice interview in the subject line, attach your resume. We're going to need that, and what job you want to interview for. And what happens is you will log on to the meeting, and I will put you and the interviewer into a breakout room, and the interviewer will talk to you for 30 minutes and interview you based on AI questions. You're gonna tell me what job title you want to interview for. I'm gonna run it through ChatGPT, and they will ask you questions based on that particular job title. And then there's 15 minutes of feedback, and then at the end of the week, everybody sends me a form that I will forward on to you, so you will have something tangible in your hand to look at, things that you might want to improve on. But I will say this: you need to practice.
Practice.
Need to practice. We talk about AI.
Mm-hmm.
I read an article a few weeks back that said the one question that 34% of interviewers will be asking candidates is, how do you use AI? And you better have an answer.
Yes.
Because 34% doesn't seem like a lot, but when you get into it, yeah, it is.
Yes.
And I think that you were right. Work smarter, not harder.
Right. And you have to. And what you said earlier, I love what you talked about, the trends. We were talking about personal trends, but you have to stay up to current with the trends that's happening in the job market and the industries. And AI is every single company. There's no company, and as you mentioned before, AI started back in 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we are aware of it, we have so many tools and resources to learn it, apply it. And I even encourage you to put it on your resume, that you have some type of knowledge and experience in it, because we're not going to get away from it.
No.
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going away. Yeah.
And, how do you use it? How do you, how have you applied it? They want to hear about that, because most companies are getting more and more aligned with changing a lot of their processes, their procedures, their online things through AI.
Yeah. I that's how I got these. That's how I got the notes for the talking points.
Right.
I don't need it to sound like me because I sound like me. I just look down and go, okay, so number 9, and then Janae and I just have a conversation. But what I used to do when I was doing notes for the podcast is I would Google, your best friend, Google. I would Google like whatever the topic, like how to enhance your job search. And then I would read 3 or 4 articles and then just kind of Frankenstein them together to come up with the talking points for the podcast.
Right.
Now I just go to ChatGPT and type in, how do you enhance your job search? And it just spits it out in just like 30 seconds.
Right.
And I'm done.
Absolutely.
Like I can create a whole month's worth of talking points for the podcast in about 5-10 minutes.
And I love what you said, work harder, not smarter, because employers are looking for that. How can you, use these tools now that we have to make your life at work, that you're getting your work done faster and smarter, but also to enhance processes and procedures.
Yeah.
A lot of companies are looking to refine, automate, streamline, and using ChatGPT or AI, it helps. So if you have any experience, even like I've told people so many times, go to YouTube. You know, there's free apps. You do not have to spend any money because you already have a phone. You got a smartphone, right?
Yeah.
Go in and get that app and play around in it. Don't be afraid of it, because believe it or not, whether you like it or not, we've been using it forever. Now is that, how do I apply it to my skill set, to the job that I'm looking for, to the job that now I have an interview? to talk about that, to have that conversation, like you just shared the story, to talk about it, personalize it, but show that you're using what's current, what's trending, and what many companies
and
are utilizing.
I think that you should be so somewhat familiar with it. You were talking about YouTube. I think like trying to upskill and learn a new skill.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can take a course or edX or something, but
Right.
you can also learn a lot of it from YouTube.
Yes.
Because you're going into the interview, unless it's something that is very specific, like you should have that skill anyway. But
Right.
they just are looking for the familiarity with it.
They are.
And you can learn that off of YouTube.
And then also too, I find some companies may ask to see your response, whether you're virtual or in person. I don't use ChatGPT. If you like, yes, I use it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, do you embrace change?
Right.
And you talked about that earlier. Some people are afraid to change, and change is constant.
It is. It's also too I remember the first time I heard the experienced worker phrase, or older worker, and I was in my 40s, and I'm like, it's like if you're 40 or older, you're an I'm like, I'm not an older, I'm young.
Right.
But I think the one problem I see in an experience-rich candidate
Mm-hmm.
is the willingness to not learn new things.
Mm,
Right?
that's good. That's real good.
That we were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because I had a client not too long ago, and it was all, well, I'm over 50 and nobody's going to hire me. I don't have this skill. I don't have. It's like, all right, why don't you stop telling me what you can't do and start telling me what you can do?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because this is going to be a good segue for this next bit.
Yes.
Because if you want to enhance your job search,
Mm-hmm.
where it starts is the mindset.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Because if you don't have the right mindset, if you're coming in with that, and we did a whole episode just last week about mindset, but if you don't have that right mindset, it's not going to work anyway. So if you're coming into the meeting and you're telling me all the things that you can't do or what's not going to happen, you're in the wrong mindset.
Yeah, you are in a fixed mindset, not a growth, not expansive. And I love what you said immediately when you were just sharing that story, that experience. Immediately, I thought to this person, first, let's calm down. Let's calm down.
Yeah,
right. I need you to take a deep breath, because right now, everything that you're saying is negative. Mm-hmm. And I know that you got skills. I know that there's things in you that a company will look for. But right now, with the negative mindset and the negative energy, who wants to hire you?
Yeah. Nobody.
Think about that energy you're putting in that resume. Think about that energy you may be putting in an interview. The first thing that they feel is your presence. Mm-hmm. And feel that, and that negative, I can't do this, I can't. You turn that, like you said, into I can. But at first, it starts with you resetting your mind, resetting everything that you may have been told up until today.
Yeah.
It doesn't validate you, and it doesn't make who you are. And then you have to think about, what have I done? What are the good things? Think about all the good things. Build your mind on the positive, so that when you go into that interview, so when you go into a virtual interview or in person, that now I am thinking about my wins, that I can share those experiences to hopefully gain that company's, to say, I want to hire you.
Yeah.
But if you're hot, mad, and just overly, negative on yourself, you're not going to get that job.
It's one of the things I work with clients about, is the mindset, but like you want to make sure that we're practicing our stories, that we're telling our stories in a compelling way, like you said, mm-hmm. so that the interviewer's like, ooh,
right. And it's not about the age. It's like, you got that compelling story.
Oh, right. Well, that'll come up sometimes. Like clients be like I've been on 6 interviews and nobody's hiring me because I'm 50. I'm like, no, they're not hiring you because you don't interview well.
There you go.
Absolutely. It's not. I'm not saying ageism doesn't exist, but if you've had 4, 5, 6 interviews, mm-hmm. the probability that every single one of those companies is ageist is outrageous.
Right.
I don't math.
Right.
We don't even. I'm going to keep talking. That's part of the brand. I don't math.
And you don't math.
But I don't know what the stat on that is, but that is that's ridiculous and thinking. It's like you're just not prepared to interview well.
And the other thing that we want to end with, though, is take a break.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're exhausted, we're overwhelmed, and your mind is not able to reset to say, let me step away for a second. Let me look at myself. And I love what you said. If you've been on 6 interviews, think about every interview that you've been on. What are one or two things, and you talked about this last time, Jason, 1 or 2 things that I can work on to improve
Correct.
in my interview.
That's right.
And then come to JFS or any other place, where that you can get practice with your interviews. Even if, hey, JFS is great, but also at home, in the mirror. Practice talking as if you are talking to someone and going through that interview.
I think that the other thing that you can do for practice, if you don't want to do like a practice interview with the team, which, by the way, guys, I've got 6 interviewers on the practice interview team, and I'm going to add one more. So we're going to have that's 7 people you can practice with. So jhopper, jfsdallas.org. Hit me up. By the way, we're full up for today. So next week, we can get you on the schedule for next week. But like you can set up a Zoom just for you and record it, and then go back and watch it and mind your body language.
Right.
Body language is big. Like all that nonverbal communication is, I think, what kind of like makes a difference in how you present. We're talking about energy, right? And the energy that you project out within the interview. But like if your body language is right, like if you're sitting there and you're smiling, but also too like
you're tense.
Yeah. Like are you raging right now?
Right. And that's something even myself. I look back at the videos and it's like, okay, I need to relax more. Those type of things, because it does come through, as you said, even if it's on Zoom. And then to hear yourself back if you record it.
Yeah.
To hear yourself back on how you can actually, be better, get better at it.
How do you feel today?
I feel amazing.
You are amazing.
You are amazing.
I am amazing.
You are a walking brand, y'all. We got to end with his brand here with the bands.
All right. So, Janae, we're at time. That went very fast.
It did.
How to enhance your job search. Fun question for the day.
Okay.
What is your favorite vegetable?
Ooh, I love all veggies. My favorite. I would say zucchini, only because I had it last night for dinner.
Okay. That's all you had for dinner was zucchini?
Well, no, I had fish.
Okay.
Yeah, I had fish and then rice and zucchini.
What kind of fish do you have?
I had tilapia, believe it or not.
I do believe it.
Yes.
I'm pescatarian, so that's why I like.
Tilapia, zucchini, and I had long grain white rice.
I made shrimp.
Oh.
Last night.
Okay.
That's not a vegetable, but that's just what I had.
Right.
My favorite vegetable, I'm going to say Brussels sprouts.
Ooh, I love them too.
If you do Brussels sprouts right, because I used to hate them. My mom would make them and she would like steam them, and they were just really bitter.
Right.
But like if you cut them in half, put some butter, balsamic on them, and just roast it.
I'm hungry now.
It's the best.
And then roast it?
Yeah, you're gonna roast them.
Yes.
It's the best.
All right, I'm coming over to your house tomorrow.
I'll get those Brussels sprouts ready for Janae. All right, so next week you'll be back.
Yes,
Janae will be back, and we will be discussing culture questions.
All right, culture.
Yeah, because you want to make sure that you're asking questions to uncover a company's culture. Like, just because you got the interview doesn't mean you want to work there.
That's true.
I don't know. But we'll talk about that next week. In the meantime, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next week for Caffeinate Your Career. Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone.